Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge in financial freedom. Today, I've got a headline about who President Trump decided that he's going to have for the Treasury Secretary. And it looks like it's a very pro-crypto candidate. So I'll dive into that article a little bit later, but let me say hello to the chat real quick before we dive on in and get you prepped for success. Got Broken Oshino Dinero in here with the Good Morning BC, Good Morning Fam. Got All Set in here, Good Morning BC, Good Morning Fam. Darren Does Things with the Wake Up, Good Morning Fam. And Moho in here as well. Good morning, good morning. Oh, and Jesse Gulak in here as well. Good morning, good morning. Let me, get it swapped to the right screen and get y'all the stock heat map for the morning. We've got NVIDIA, which had a little bit of a pullback from Friday. It is sitting up in the pre-market just a little bit, up 0.18%. We've got Apple, which was sitting up from Friday. It is continuing that trend. It is up a 0.23% right now. We've got the finance sector looking pretty nice. Berkshire Hathaway was up 0.96%, and in the pre-market for Monday morning, it is sitting up 0.59% right now. So big gains for the finance sector right now. I know they had just put in 1.3 million shares of Domino's, so might have to take a look at that here a little bit later. We've got Amazon, which is sitting down from Friday, but in the pre-market, it is up 0.85%. They did just start their Black Friday sales on the 21st, so we'll kind of have to see how retail does for Amazon this week. It's going all week, so might boost some of their sales and give a little pump to the price of their stock as well. We've got Eli Lilly, which is sitting down 0.25% from Friday. It is up 0.18% in the pre-market right now. We've got GE, which is sitting up 1.37 from Friday. We've got Tesla, which is sitting up 3.8 from Friday and continuing that trend in the pre-market this morning, up 1.89%. It was up almost 2.5% this morning, a little bit earlier. We've got Microsoft sitting up 1% from Friday, and in the pre-market, continuing that trend, it is up 0.24% right now. We've got Google, which is sitting down 1.71 from Friday, but in the pre-market, taking back some of those losses, it is up 0.6%. We've got Meta sitting down as well, down 0.7, and the pre-market also taking back some of those losses, and it is up 0.33%. On the crypto side of things, Bitcoin's looking a little bit neutral after some dumpage on the weekend. It is up 0.37% right now, and we have some potential for some higher side targets, and we'll have to dive into that when I get to that Bitcoin overview for the morning. We got 3.57% up on Ethereum right now. Solana sitting neutral, down just 0.23%. Could very quickly change if we see some quick moves to the upside on Bitcoin. This is a data-heavy week, though, so might be some volatility to both sides of things. Got XRP continuing its trend. I saw it topped out at $1.50 something. This I think it was like $1.51. We'll take a look at that XRP chart a little bit later. Got BNB sitting up 0.77 right now. Doge is sitting down just a little bit, down 0.87%. Got Avalanche up 9% right now. Lido staked ETH is sitting up 3.71. We got Cardano up 3.11, continuing on its uptrend. We've got Toncoin up 1.3%. Got Stellar Lumens, the big outlier for that top 25, sitting down 4.04%. There's been a nice move in correlation with its connection to XRP. There was a split a long time ago with XRP's founders, and one of the founders created Stellar Lumens, and that's why Stellar Lumens got that nice 14% pump last week. So we've got Chainlink sitting up 4.41, back up to that $18 range for Link. Big moves. We got Tron sitting up just a little bit, up 0.91. So for the economic calendar this week, we have a doozy of a week. For the U.S., we've got the Chicago Fed National Activity Index coming out at 8:30 this morning, and a little bit later we have the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index, and that will be at 10:30 Eastern Time. And that's kind of it for the data on Monday. A little bit later in the week, though, we will have all of the heavy data. Hong Kong is coming out with their balance of trade. That will be 3:30 Eastern Time tomorrow. So basically at Asia market, at Europe market open, we do have building permits coming out for the U.S. tomorrow. That will be a fair market mover. Later in the day, though, on Tuesday, we do have the housing price index, month over month and year over year, and the S&P Case-Shiller home price month over month and year over year. We also do have the CB Consumer Confidence, new home sales month over month as well. And that will be an hour after that. So might see a bit of some ping pong action coming out on Tuesday morning. There is a mixed bag on the data that will be dropping. Some of it is forecasted to be kind of nice. Some of it is forecasted to be down quite a bit. You've got the home prices year over year is looking like it might come down about 0.4%. So while the other data for your housing price index is looking to be stable month over month, your year over year is coming in a little bit less than expected, a little bit less than prior, and this could definitely cause some of this ping pong action, especially when the data drops are just an hour apart from each other. You also have some more manufacturing data coming out tomorrow. The Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index looking to slow up on its decreasing. Was negative 14, looking like it's going to be coming in at negative 10. So some positive data coming in right around the same time as the housing data. We do have the Dallas Fed Services Index later in the morning on Tuesday, but the big one is going to be in the afternoon, 2 o'clock FOMC minutes, and this will kind of highlight some of what they're looking for December. And I don't know. We might see a rate cut. We might not see a rate cut. It's kind of quite a bit of a toss-up. They haven't been very clear on where they'd like to see things for December, and these FOMC minutes might give us a little bit of a peek into what they were really wanting to see if they want to cut, and what they were wanting to see if they're going to hold rates where they are. And, you know, there's been a mixed data coming out, well, for the past month. And so we've gotten a mixed sentiment from your Fed chairs. Some of them think policy is too restrictive, and some of them want to see those rate cuts in December and continue all the way into 2025 and at a quicker pace. So we'll kind of have to see how that goes. We also do get the next day core PCE and corporate profits quarter over quarter, durable goods and durable goods month over month, and GDP growth quarter over quarter, and initial jobless claims, and the PCE, the personal income month over month, and personal spending month over month. So Wednesday is really going to be the doozy of a day for data. And some of these moves are all going to be in preparation for this heavy data drop Wednesday. It's looking like quite a big bit of a mixed bag. You do have things like consumer spending, which is looking to be up quarter over quarter, but personal income is looking to stay the same, while personal spending has taken a little bit of a dip, which is normally not what we see going into Q4. We normally see that personal spending ticks up just a little bit, and that income normally stays about the same. So something to watch out for with that mixed data drop. The PCE price index is also forecasted to be coming in a little bit hotter. So definitely not something we've been wanting to see when we want to see inflation start ticking back down. The month over month, it does look steady, but that year over year is not what we want to see. Those initial jobless claims are also looking like they're going to be coming in a little bit hot. Not as big of a worry as we do see your holiday work and seasonal work kind of taking over. A bunch of people are on unemployment right now for their seasonal work, and you do see some of that holiday specific work picking up some of those numbers, which does help on some of the increase being a little bit less on what they want to see. You do see GDP is looking like it's coming in quite a bit less than last quarter. 2.5 was last quarter, and 1.8 is looking like the forecast for this quarter. And definitely kind of sending things in the wrong direction. You also have it for the quarter over quarter 2 estimate, 3% from prior and 2.8% going into this quarter. Durable goods is looking like it's making a nice recovery, which is something that is a good signal for the economy here. We've got it was 0.7% negative last time, and it's looking to come in positive for a change. It's been a little while since we've seen that. You do have the core PCE prices. We've got a bit of a mixed bag here. It's going up for the year over year, staying flat for the month over month, and looking like it's going to be coming down just a bit for the quarter over quarter. So going to see a bunch of volatility coming into this week as we prepare for this big Wednesday's data drop. I will hop over to the liquidation heat map and the fear and greeds real quick before I dive into that news article. It is a bit of a longer article, so I'll save some time for it. Got the stock market fear and greed looking at 61, up a point, and in greed. We've got crypto still staying in extreme greed, back up 2 points after our dipping this weekend. For the liquidation heat map, we do have liquidity to both the top side and the bottom side. The hotter spot is to the top side of us, looking at 99,200 all the way up to 99.5. The the two hot spots on the bottom side are 97.3 and another one down here at 95.385 for a 3 day, kind of more of a broader view of that. Gonna be all to the top side, nothing really to the bottom side. So short-term liquidity, there is some to the top and bottom, mostly to the top side, but as you go to these higher time frames, you do see that most of it is going to be to the top side of us. Let me pull that article up and then say hello to the chat, because I did see a lot of people in here this morning. We have Quasum in here saying good evening from Asia. Good evening. We've got Michael Kilo saying sup. We've got Dante Cabrero saying good morning. We've got Darren Does Things saying hello to the chat. We've got Buck in here. Good morning, party people. Good morning, Buck. We've got French Toaster as well. Good morning, French Toaster. Let's see who else we got in here. Ombiceft in here. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Ombiceft. Buck. Are the numbers for today expected to be on target? We don't really have too much of some data today. There is the manufacturing. It's looking like it's going to tick down just a little bit, which is continuing with the trend that we've been seeing. So definitely a plausible thing to see for the manufacturing index for today. Let's see what else. Looks like that's about it for the chat. French Toaster says he's feeling bullish this week. Let's go. Well, there's definitely a chance of some moves to the upside. I was talking about that in our Discord. If you're not in our Discord, you should definitely check out that link in the description. I dropped a banger of a trade in our trading group. So, Trump taps Wall Street vet Scott Bessent to run the Treasury Department. President-elect Donald Trump chose Scott Bessent to lead the Treasury Department late Friday evening. I am most pleased to nominate Scott Bessent to serve as the 79th Secretary of Treasury of the United States, Trump wrote in a statement posted on his social media platform, Truth Social. Scott is widely respected as one of the world's foremost international investors and geopolitical and economic strategists. Scott's story is that of an American dream. Bessent did not immediately return a request for comment on the nomination. The pick ends a week of uncertainty over the crucial market-facing position. Infighting with the Trump transition team had slipped into public view during the selection process, with Tesla CEO and Trump advisor Elon Musk coming out against Bessent. Trump's penchant for a surprising cabinet nomination had left markets unusually anxious over the Treasury decision. The pick of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to lead the Department of Health and Human Services unsettled vaccine stocks, but choosing Bessent, Trump is giving many investors what they want, a seasoned market professional who isn't afraid to speak his mind. There are already signs that Bessent has succeeded in nudging Trump into a more market-friendly position than he expressed on the campaign trail. That may calm nerves on Wall Street as Trump moves ahead with some of the riskier economic policies he had pledged as a candidate, such as tariffs and potentially deficit-inducing tax cuts. Bessent, 62, didn't serve in Trump's first administration. He became an outspoken supporter and potent fundraiser early in the recent campaign after judging that Trump was likely to win. Along the way, he has interposed himself between the big talking president and the often volatile markets of key economic issues, including the role of Federal Reserve, deficit tariffs, and the dollar. On those issues, he has often translated what seem like radical policies into language of traditional deficit hawk, light economic touch republicanism. Bessent grew up in South Carolina, went to Yale University as an undergrad, and later taught economics there. He moved to South Carolina in 2020. He is a longtime friend of the Trump family, though not the president himself until recently. He now runs Key Square, the macro hedge fund he founded after stints for working with an investor, George Soros, including as chief investment officer. Soros' status as a major funder of the progressive cause came up often in Besant's public appearances with other conservatives, but Besant told Barron's in October interview that the two had not spoken since 2016. At this point, his connections with Soros are well known in the Trump circle and are unlikely to cause a problem for him. You know, there's a this is a quite a long article, but I can kind of summarize some of the ending of it, because it had talked about, here how he had pledged as a candidate to help the economy when potentially change Trump's mind on some of the things like tariffs and the deficit inducing taxes, which you know the tariffs are a going to be a good thing in some ways for America. You've already seen some companies like Samsung who are looking to build factories here in the United States, as well as other companies in that tech sector who are looking to bring some of their manufacturing over to the U.S. There is some of the tax cuts that are been promised. They look a little big and could definitely cause some problems in the deficit, which would cause problems in the dollar. And when you have a president who has said that he doesn't exactly care how strong the dollar is, but you have a Treasury secretary who really wants a strong dollar because he understands the macroeconomics of a strong dollar for the American people, then you might get a little bit of some softening of the blows of these economic policies. I know Trump had said as high as 60% tariffs on some of these countries that are importing their goods here. And Besant has said he doesn't really want to see anything higher than 20%, which is definitely a more of a positive thing and could still have some impact on the global economy, allow us to play more of a strong arm role in some decisions that we want to see made and still bring in some money, but not hinder things as hard and kind of keep things more at an even keel and not cause a trade war, which is definitely something that could have happened with 60% tariffs on China, or even your allies, where you're going to be taxing them on their imports at ridiculous rates. That's not really something you want to see done to your allies. So, might see some of these policies not be so harmful to the economy with this Treasury Secretary in place. Let me take a look at the Bitcoin chart for the morning. We do have a bit of a move up from the weekend's little move down. It ended up touching almost back down to this 50% line on a fib extension that I've had drawn for quite a while. We had got this bounce off of it here and a move on up above the golden pocket. We came a little bit higher than last time, sitting right here on the midline of that fair value gap that I had marked out from last week, and we left it open. We did pull up above that golden pocket and with very little liquidity to make that move to the upside. We do have this MACD, which is still sitting positive. It's looking kind of neutral on its movements here, just waiting for some liquidity to kind of send things in either direction. A bounce off the golden pocket, like we saw back here, is definitely a plausible move for the morning. Let me zoom on in just a little bit, drop it down to the hourly. You can kind of see here, we've already started getting a little bit of curvature on your MACD and your prime oscillator. No reversal signals, and that money flow's coming in nice and strong. So if we do end up seeing a little bit of a pullback. Seeing that bounce on the golden pocket for the morning at 97.6 would be a nice little spot to see that liquidity really pick back up and really come in strong, because it looks like it's leveling off for the morning. You do have your 15-minute chart, which is showing that that pullback could be coming down for just the morning. You do have that liquidity, which is red, kind of ticked up for some of the sell-offs. Your MACD is kind of looking like it might cross a little bit below that zero line, but you're coming down to the bottom here on your prime oscillator. So that's why I think that any pullback that we might be seeing for the morning might be a little bit short-lived. And once again, like we saw last time when we touched back here at this golden pocket, we saw a quick liquidity grab and we just moved on up to the upside very rapidly. And that would have been Friday. That call that I made where we come back down here, come down quickly and see a bunch of that bought up and move on up to the upside was a pretty decent call. We came a little bit lower, tapped on the top of that fair value gap. Now that we've moved into that fair value gap this weekend, I would kind of look at the golden pocket more so being that bouncing point. It kind of continues with that more macro higher lows and still making higher highs along the way. So I don't know if anyone has any assets that they'd like me to take a quick look at. I got about 15 minutes before I got to head on out, but you can leave those in the chat for me. I was taking a look at some of the indices this morning. We've got some potential moves for the upside. This daily chart on S&P is looking decent. It is we've got that curvature on your MACD and the positive side of things. You've got your prime oscillator looking set to kind of make some moves up, as you can kind of see here, ticked to the green on Friday. That money flow is the only thing that we're kind of waiting on the daily. If you zoom it on in though, from Friday, you can kind of see here that money flow was staying nice and green. Your MACD is kind of moving sideways, so definitely something that we'd like to see kind of switch up on that. And we did have gold as well that I've been talking about from last week. We did end up making that move up to the golden pocket that I had been wanting to see, but we kind of stalled out there. Let me move it on out to that daily view. As you can kind of see there, we got to move through the golden pocket and up to that platinum pocket before we really started seeing some of that rejection on gold. It was kind of news based in some areas. When the market gets scared over geopolitical tensions, you do see gold get that move on up to the upside. So looking for a little bit of a pullback. As you can kind of see, that daily money flow doesn't look too pretty. It did get a lot of bounce in here off of that 236, the 382, my bad, not the 236. You saw a lot of buying pressure there. So could definitely just see a pullback to that 50% line. Let me zoom it on in just a little bit. You can kind of see here that that money flow on shorter time frames as well is still looking red, and looking to see where we end up seeing some bouncing when that comes into effect. Could easily see this continue up to this golden pocket, the 2,689 point, before we see that come back down to that 50% line, which is going to be that 2,673 mark. I did see a few requests in here. We've got Link and PDAI on Pulse Chain. I will have to see if I can find the PDAI. But real quick, let me take a look at Link first, because I've got it right here. It's been a little while since I've talked about Link on here, but as you can see, we've got our golden pocket on that the 236 on that retracement sitting right there above us. It's been a while since we've been in this range. Let me zoom it on out to kind of get your view from where I pulled all of that. You can kind of see here. I got it from the move on this low here before the move on up, and I pulled it all the way to this high that we had made back in March at that $23 mark. And it's been a while since we've been up that high. You can kind of see there that the 236 last time that we got up to it was a heavy rejection mark. So it's looking like with our money flow kind of ticking on up, you could definitely see that turned into some support. We are going to have to wait to see how Bitcoin plays in the morning though. But with this money flow on your daily chart being solid green, this 236 is looking like a nice point to make some support. If you zoom it on in just a little bit further, we've got your 4 hour. We ended up breaking some of the highs from over here that I had wanted to see broken, and moved on up to the upside extremely quickly. The thing to be a little bit concerned about here, there is going to be a fair value gap right here that we barely touched on, and these moves here are creating fair value gaps. So definitely could see if we ended up getting exhausted on your prime oscillator, pulling on back down to this lower range here. You can kind of see that the fair value gap there plays out decently nice. You've got a smaller one here and a smaller one down here. Kind of playing out right to that point where I had talked about maybe seeing some bouncing. And you can kind of see we ended up pulling close to the midline of this fair value gap to the bottom side of us and moving on up and creating another fair value gap. You could see some slight resistance here at the 236 as you are seeing this be a little bit red. Your money flow is kind of stagnating. You did see it come down to the downside here. Got light green, picking up back on a 4 hour. Let's zoom it on into the hourly, kind of see how it's looking there. It is looking a little bit toppy. You do see your money flow is to the negative now. So could easily see some bouncing points coming down to the top side of this fair value gap, $17.78. Could be a nice little bouncing point. We could also come in here and see this midline at $17.27 before really seeing that money flow pick up quite heavily. Let me zoom it on in a little bit more, see what a 15-minute chart's looking like. It's looking like we getting some light inflows, but your prime oscillator is very red. This divergence hasn't really played out yet, so could definitely see that play out, especially if you're gonna see Bitcoin moving counter to Link. That does happen quite frequently. Link likes to make the move later or precursor the move that you might see on some Bitcoin. So I would look at this top side range being $17.82 and this bottom side being $17.30. Let me see if I can find that other asset that was requested. PDAI. I'm not seeing it. On Pulse Chain. Yep, I'm not seeing it there. So if you do have something else that you'd like me to see, I could definitely take a look at that as well. let me hop into my favorite one. One of my favorite ones. I won't say favorite. Injective is more my favorite. But Near has been a solid asset to trade this weekend. Um, we did get this little move on up above very quickly on Friday. No, Saturday. Moved on up above this line that I had wanted to see us make support at $6.50 before making a quick on move down to the bottom side of that. I did say in our Discord this weekend, I called it a little bit before that move, called it somewhere down here. I said that if we can end up breaking above this $6.50 mark, pulling on down and creating that as a support, I would like to see that move on up to the upside and that target be around $7. And it played out quite nicely. It blasted through that top side target I was kind of looking at. You do see it moved on up to the upside of this 236 that was sitting at $7.08. Kind of topped out here around that $7.24. And it looks like we're in a point where we're a little bit indecisive. You do have your higher term frames still having solid money flow. That money flow still just seems to be increasing, but we are at some points where we could see some topping signals. Your MACD is getting a little bit of a curvature signal on your daily chart. So the 4 hour was also looking like it was a little bit toppy. The money flow is a little bit green. You've got some divergences here that are looking like they might come out to play. So the MACD as well with that curvature could definitely see that money flow since it is on the shorter term time frame. A little bit red. Come in and increase increase some of the downside potential. We are seeing the hourly look pretty decent. The MACD looks like it's indecisive, but your money flow's decently red. It is now solidly red, and if we do see that tick on up, I would look at some lower targets down here. You do have $6.71 being a point where you could see some buying, but there is a lot of selling pressure in this range, as you can see from this wick down here. You also do have a point back here at $6 and about 60 cents, which is another point where we could kind of see some bouncing. There was heavy selling pressure below that range. So if we do end up getting down below that, could definitely see a little bit of some lower prices. You do have this point down here as well, $6.38. That is still making some more higher highs on your higher term time frames. So definitely another selling a bouncing point if we do end up getting into these heavy sell-off zones, which are starting around kind of the levels that we're at here. That's $6.80 to $6.71 has been a heavy selling pressure point for Near, and would like to see some of that kind of maintained here. With the money flow looking kind of red though, I would look at this kind of lower side target of $6.58. You can kind of see some strength was made here on that range, and could definitely be another spot where we create some more support right above this $6.50 range that I had wanted to see before. Let's see what the chat's saying. We've got Costa Ricardo Crypto. For years, I tried telling friends, family, and coworkers about Bitcoin. They laughed and brushed it off. Now they're all coming back curious, asking me about this Bitcoin things, how times have changed. Yes, most definitely. It took me 5 years of nagging my mom before she finally bought Bitcoin last year. And she's definitely been happy with me about that decision. My grandma, on the other hand, was like, that all seems like fuddy-duddy nonsense. And I still haven't been able to convince her. But I have gotten quite a bit of friends that have been like, yo, what's up with this ADA thing? Hey, what's up with this XRP? I see that it's up like 30% off of the whole week. So what's going on? It is now a good time to buy? I'm like, well, now's a better time to buy than it's going to be in 6 months. So you might want to wait for some bottoms and then maybe throw your money in then. I did convince some friends to buy just a smidge of some crypto last October, and he had completely forgot about it. And this weekend messages me a screenshot of his portfolio. He was like, "Brother, why didn't I put in more?" And I was like, "I've been telling you this whole time to put in more, but I guess now is better than never." This is kind of what we've been talking about. We would start seeing some retail coming in here and kind of shake things up. And with Bitcoin at such high prices, you will see some of these alts start moving along with Bitcoin's movements. They won't be as parabolic, but you will see those move on up to the upside with Bitcoin because your retail investor is a little more scared to buy an asset that's $100,000 when they can buy ADA, which is $1.01, or they can buy XRP, which they can see is doing pretty nicely, and it's $1.50. There's also a bunch of other assets along in that same range. A lot of that those signals that we've been wanting to see are slowly ticking back up to let us know that maybe retail is going to make a decent appearance this time after all of the scared that they got from last cycle, seeing some of the FTX and some of your other big crypto scams, your your NFT market being completely demolished. These were things that were definitely discouraging to the retail investor. But when you see things like BlackRock coming in and doing ETFs and Ethereum ETFs coming in and a potential for a Solana ETF in 2025, retail's like, yo, hold on, let me see what else is out there, cause there's a lot of potential if this is anything like last time. And when those bigger names are really sitting in there and kind of bringing that security that we've been wanting to see, you're gonna see some of this retail be a little less scared. And I've been waiting for that. Let's see what the chat's saying. Got my nephew bought 30,000 pounds and is making massive gains. That is always nice to hear. It's definitely been a nice time for crypto. If you got into the right projects. It kind of looks like it's all bleeding out though, and it really isn't gonna matter so much as to what you invested in, more so how much you invested into the right projects. We do talk a lot about that on the Piper Academy and what projects we think are good and have decent utility. We do have the Piper Discord, which Crux of Crypto drops a lot of deep dives in. So if you ever have questions on projects, Crux is the man that will bring all of that info for you. We do have Buck said, talked my mom into converting 10% of her portfolio into crypto. Took so long to talk her into it. Yeah, it definitely does take a while to convince some people, especially the older generation. That, like I said, it took me 5 years of talking to my mom before she finally got to that point where she was like, okay, I'll buy some of this Bitcoin you're talking about. I've been hearing about it in the news, so let's just buy some. I'm like, okay, mom, well, just hold on by the seat of your pants because it's gonna get crazy. And she just kept buying and kept buying and kept buying and kept buying, and she's doing pretty decent right now. So I see Mark Dutch in here. Morning, all you sexy fib dancers. Good morning, Mark Dutch. Good morning. We've got Massey33 saying, good morning, gang. 7 espressos for me. Jesse, we can sleep next year. I've got this saying that I bring up all the time. I know everyone says that, oh, we can sleep when we're dead. I say we can sleep when we're wealthy. And I don't think we're that far off. You know, it's gonna be a nice year for crypto. Thank you to everyone that tuned in today. I do have to get ready for work. So if you haven't hit that like button, I would greatly appreciate that. It's a free way to support the channel. We also have the subscribe button if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet. We have 5 shows a day. There's my show, Good Morning Crypto, which comes out before Piper, and the Morning Market Report, which is at 9:30 Eastern Time with Piper and OC. That's Monday through Friday. We do have, after that, going to be the Trade Academy with Trade Intuition. That's the new show for this week. I'm not sure quite what time it's coming out. I know it's going to be this afternoon. I believe around 3 Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. Don't hold me to that. If you're subscribed and you got that notification bell clicked on, you will be alerted when that goes live today. We do have the Crypto Nightcap, which is TradeFly and FD White coming out at 8:30 Eastern Time. And Markets After Dark, if y'all have been sleeping on that, like I am, I'm asleep during that time, but I definitely watch what I can throughout the day. LBC's doing a great job on that. That is 11 p.m. Eastern Time, and he just goes until he can't. It's quite entertaining. I know he went for almost 2 hours the other day. So if y'all want the alpha, that is the place to get it. Thank you for everyone that showed up. I've got to head out the door, so wake up, because today's gonna be a good day.